Yes, we are.
Anyone here who is not comfortable in Hindi, do let me know. Okay, no response. I guess we can start with mixed convo of English and Hindi. Okay, so let's start with basics of HTML and CSS. आज के सेशन में हम सीधे देखने वाले हैं HTML and CSS के बारे में एक ओवरव्यू कि एक्चुअली HTML and CSS से हम कैसे डील करते हैं. लाइक अगर आपको HTML and CSS के बारे में बिल्कुल भी नॉलेज नहीं है तो भी ये सेशन आपके लिए काफी ज्यादा हेल्पफुल हो सकता है. और अगर लाइक आपको कुछ कुछ बेसिक्स आते हैं HTML and CSS के मिक्स्ड या सिर्फ HTML के भी, तो भी आप इस सेशन को कंटिन्यू कर सकते हैं. तो आगे बढ़ते हुए सबसे पहले हम बात करते हैं कि एक जो वेबसाइट होती है वो किन लेयर्स में रहती है. लाइक हमारी जो वेबसाइट, कोई भी दुनिया की जितनी भी वेबसाइट्स है वो मेनली हमारी 3 लेयर्स में होंगी. एक पहला कंटेंट लेयर जो हमारी HTML के थ्रू लिखी जाती है. दूसरी हमारी प्रेजेंटेशन
Harsh,
लेयर. ओके सर.
actually, Akash is not comfortable in Hindi.
Okay.
He wrote in the chat box.
Okay. Okay, no worries. Okay, so let me start from the begin. Okay, so we'll have a look at basics of HTML and CSS in this session. So for every website, it is divided into 3 parts. Those parts are content, which is written in HTML. Second layer is a presentation layer, which is written in CSS. And the third layer is behavior layer, which is written in JS. Like if I talk about a human analogy, like you can compare that our skeleton is like a structure of anything, as our structure is our skeleton. It is the HTML part which is just defines where we have to stay and what part stays where. And like we have muscles and clothes that defines by our CSS. Like how we look is actually defined by the CSS. And how we behave, like if I get touched and my body moves, I smells, I react to anything, that part is actually JS part, like the behavior one. So this is just the 3 layers, and the every single website on this internet is divided into 3 layers. So you might have seen that there is something like Python, PHP, and some other languages. These will be working on a backend, but in the end, they will be rendered as a HTML, CSS, and JS. So I hope I am clear at this point till now. Okay, so moving forward, look at HTML. So as we all know that HTML stands for markup language. It is not a programming language, it is a markup language. It defines where we like how the HTML page will look, how our page will is structured. So this is just a simple definition of HTML, and we'll not deep dive into the theoretical part. Let's move on the practical part. So our whole HTML is like written in using tags, where we have a opening tag and a close tag. We like write opening tag somewhere like this, angular bracket, and then angular closing angular bracket, and like we start our tag as we see there is a angular bracket, then P, and then closing angular bracket. Then we have some content here, and then we close this tag. Few tags have their closing tags and few tags are just opening tag, so there is no need to close them. So there are both opening and closing tags, and there are some empty tags. So this is just a basic info, like because of we all like we wrote whole HTML using tags. So this is just a overlay how we write tags. And moving forward, like we use actually nested tags. Nested means looping, like going deeper into something. Like there is a div tag and there is another p tag inside it. So this is called nesting. You may have heard about listing in any like lists, or like in any programming languages, nested loops or anything. But this is nesting, like using something inside something and then something inside something. So this is like I have used this p tag inside a div tag. So this is nested tags, and in the whole HTML we use a lot of nested tags. Moving forward, like this is the basic HTML structure. So like we have a doc type HTML. This line, anyone here wants to say the use of this line, exclamation mark doc type HTML? Anyone from the chat, like escape? Anyone
Actually,
wants
it
to?
shows which type of document it is. Like,
Yeah, you are right. Like, could you please repeat? Like, I actually didn't get you. Hello. Okay.
Hello, sir.
So
Actually, it tells
yeah,
about the document type of HTML, means which version you are using.
yeah, you are right. Like the doctype HTML version defines that it is the HTML5 version. Okay. So if I move it, oh, just a mistake. So this is a basic structure of any HTML code. So in the start, we have like, this is not a necessary thing, but we use just to as a good practice. And then we have a HTML tag. Inside this, we have head tag and a body tag. Head tag contains, like we will talk about it in just a minute. And like we have HTML, inside it, we have head and a body tag. So let's move to head tag. Head tag actually contains like a detail about our page, like what will be the title of our page, what are the links we are going to embed in our page, what will be the meta description of our page, and all the stuffs we describe about our page, not what we display in our page, but the things that describes about our page is defined under head tag. So as you can see that there is some title over any page. That title is actually defined using title tag inside a head tag. So I hope I am clear at this point till now. Okay, so like if I am using it like this, like learn HTML over any page as a title, then you can see that there is some title over any page which will display it like this. Okay, moving forward, body tag, like anything we want to display on our page is used inside our body tag. So we want to display some things, like we want to display some text. Just forget what are these H1OP. We want to display anything, will put it inside a body tag. So as we have seen that there is some H1 tag. What is H1 tag? We will just look afterward. And moving after, we can see that there is a H1 and a P tag. So it will look like this. Like the main concept behind this is whatever we want to display, we put it inside a body tag. So you can see that there is some line display, like we have seen that my first page, and then some dummy content that is lorem ipsum dollar setamate. So which is, yeah. And like if I talk about headers, there are 6 headers in HTML, from H1 to H6, which is header 1 to header 6. Header 1 is the biggest one header, and header 6 is the smallest. So you want to display any heading on a website, we can use header. And the best part about is headers are like blocks. So what are blocks? We will talk about later. Just have a look at how this page will display. Like there is this content will be inside our body tag, and this will display something like this. Header 1 is the biggest heading, and header 2 is the just smaller than this, and so on. Header 6 is the smallest one. So this is something like it varies from browser to browser. There is no fixed values that header 1 will be of some pixels, of header 6 will be of some pixel. It totally depends on the browser, and we can't say that it is something of fixed pixel, but it is relative. Like header 1 will be of the biggest, and header 6 will be smallest. And we came to the paragraph tag. Like if we want to display any paragraph or any text description about anything, we use paragraph tags. Paragraph tags are blocks. Like if I use 2 paragraph tags one by one, as I have used here, so it will come one by one. Like if I have used this paragraph tag, another paragraph tag will be displayed on another line instead of just after here words. So as we can see there, this is our paragraph 1, that lorem ipsum text, and just a line break, and then another lorem ipsum text, which is displayed in paragraph. So that's simple. If we want to display any paragraph or any description about anything, we use paragraph text. And here we have some list in our HTML. Lists are of basically two types: unordered list and ordered list. Unordered list, we define them with like UL. UL simply means unordered list, and OL means ordered list. Unordered list means there is no order for them. They will be displayed just by a dot. We can change the display item. Like then there is ordered list. We can, it will be displayed like a 1, 2, 3 in a list item. I request anyone of our team will check out if something has in the chat which I want to know. Okay, so here is our unordered list. Then we have to use li. Li simply means list item. So if we have list item, then this will be our first list item of this unordered list. This will be the second list item of this list, and similarly this third item. And here same case, like this will be the first item of our ordered list, means this will be ranked as first, second, and third. So it will be displayed something like this. Here you can see these are unordered list. So you see a bullet here which displays like just a bullet, and here is an ordered list. So there is a number 1, 2, 3. This number can be Roman as well and can be anything. You can change it to anything. So this is also the part of CSS to change them, or you can change them actually using HTML as well, but we'll look at afterwards. So moving forward, division. So division is one of the most useful tag you will ever use in any website. Division is actually used as a div. Div tag stands for division, and here division, like to create any section or any proportion in your website, you will create a div web. Suppose like if I have, you can see that this is a page. Like you can see that there is some blue area here with a blue background, and then there is a white area. Then I want to create it into two divisions. Then what I will say, this is my whole body. Then I will create a division in which I have this only div tag. This division will have a blue background, and will create a second division which will have this code. So this division is having some different properties, and this division is having some different properties. So I divided my page into two different divisions, and those two different divisions will having their different properties. So moving forward, this is the basic use of a division tag, which is used by a div, and this is like a opening and closing tag both. So we need to close them as well. So you can see that here, like this code will display something like this. There's nothing like, if I haven't used any division here, this will still display the same. Like if I have omitted this div, this closing div, this div, and this closing div, this will result the same until unless I have given some properties to this div tag, or like if I have did something, anything else to, like if I have did any like left align or float, until unless I give any property to these two tags, it will be same as without using them. Like if I talk about block elements, as I have talked earlier, that our paragraph is a block element, our div is a block element. Block elements are if I use multiple block elements, they will be displayed on one by one on the next line. Like as you can see that there we have used headings. So headings are block elements. So if there is a heading 1 and heading 2, we haven't used any tag. You may have heard about the BR tag. BR tag is used to break line. So we haven't used any BR tag here to break line. But you can see that here 1 and header 2, header 3 are on different lines. They have the different lines, but this is because they are block elements, and block elements are displayed on different lines. And if I talk about the normal element, which is not a block element, this will be displayed one by one. Like if I change its property to inline element, then it will be displayed something like header 1. After it, header 2 will start from here, just at the end of header 1, header 2, and then header 3, and then header 4, and then header 5. So this will be inline element, but since it's not an inline element now, it will be displayed one by one. Moving forward, we have covered till block elements, and this is a brief intro about inline elements. Like if I have used a paragraph, paragraph is actually a block element. So like if you have used multiple paragraph tags, it will display one by one. And if I have used anything like strong is an inline element. So you can see that strong is just similar to the bold. So it will bold this tags and it will not display this in a new line. So you can see that this will look something like this. This paragraph contains inline element. So this inline element is nothing but a strong tag. You can see it here. If I have used like created a paragraph here, it will be displayed in a new line. So there are a few more inline elements which are inline by default. You use them for text like em, strong, and span. Span is just a brother of the p tag, which is the inline element. So if wherever you want to use a paragraph tag or a simple just display text bus in an inline way, then we use a span tag. And m is used just to display like italic curves. This is just same as bold tag, and this one is just same as the em italic tag. Moving forward, you can see that there is inline element which is bold.
Harsh,
Inline element.
there is a
Yes, sir.
hello. There is a question in chat box. Can we use header tag instead of strong tag?
Header tag will be displayed like if I have used header tag, it will be it is a block element, so it will create in a new line. We can use like the proper defining it as an inline element by changing its property through CSS. We can use anything like HTML has one best thing. You can use anything at any place. So like if I use any, I just want to know, shall I change this session into a code along session? Like instead of displaying these things, images, I will be writing code. So
Yes,
we
sir.
will be having some, okay. So let me just change it. I can create uh, just folder name test. I already having test. So here is the folder in which we will be having our file. And let's create some files. I hope you guys will be having some already like a basic intro to a text editor. So I am using a code editor as a VS Code. Sorry, my code editor will be VS Code. So I will open it. If you guys haven't used VS Code, you can see use any text editor you generally use. There's no compulsion like you using uh, VS Code. Just I use VS Code because it has a lot of features in it, and I recommend everyone to use VS Code. So here is, as we all know, that defining any site, we create index.html. You can use any name, but why index.html? Because our browser or any server, if I talk about any server like Apache server or Nginx or anything, it directly look for index.html. So if I go for index.html, then I don't have to call the actual file. If I directly call the root of any directory, it will automatically call the HTML index.html. So here I have created, it will take a few minutes. So let's go back to our PPT. So we are done till here, which is just something like here. So from now, using images tag, we will make this a code along session. I guess I have did something wrong. My system is a bit slow. That's why it's taking too much time. Okay, so now our HTML file is ready here. So what we have to do is just using our normal text. So what we will do, write HTML. Don't know why my IntelliSense is not working. Else in VS Code, you don't need to actually write this code. You actually write HTML. I will give it a few minutes so my things will start. As I see, there is not few services on right now. Okay, okay, no worries. We will write it by own. Ah. Don't know why after how much time I'm writing this code by own was okay, things are started. Yeah, most of the things are started. So I guess if I close this and just write HTML, so you can see that HTML5 whole text is already there. You can omit these things. This is our law of no use right now. This is actually a useful thing when we are making our site responsive, and we can omit this right now. So here is our body tag. We have displayed things like we are now at using HTML. So here, hey, this is a code along session. So here is our basic HTML file. So you can see that there is a body tag and we have some text here in it. So it will be displayed in our browser. I guess there is some text on, okay, those were different notifications. So if I want to display this page, the very basic thing is I can do is just call this HTML file. But if I make any changes in it, like if I have done something like this in our page, then I have to go and manually reload this page to have look at changes. So what I can do is just restart my live server like this. So live server is nothing but an extension of VS Code. Like if I make any changes here, the page will automatically reload. Okay, so now just what is the next thing we are going to do? Adding images in any HTML page. So you can see this is the basic structure of any adding image. So we'll write something like angular bracket, which is opening tag, then img. Img is the tag for adding images. Then src. Src is short of source. So what will be the source? So here will be we having our path. We'll write our path here soon. And then we have another attribute which is named as alt. Alt is basically like if this HTML document didn't get this path or didn't find any image on this path, then it will display the alt. Like if I want to display any car image here, so let's use. So we'll take any car image. Sorry. We'll download any car image. So if I take this, save images, instead of saving, we can also use its public link like this. Open image in Intuit tab. So you can see that there is some, it is actually the base 64 code of this image, which is not a path. If I see that there is a base 64, it will be also displayed. Like if I see here, there might be some issues in copy pasting. See, yeah, the whole stuff is not pasted because we have a base 64 code, which is not pasted here. I test it. Yeah, this is the whole code pasted now. So if I go to our web page, you can see that there is image because we have used the base 64, but using base 64 is not a recommended way because it's not easy to understand and a lot of people might confuse because of it. So we have used our image, which is downloaded here in the download section. So you can see I will just copy this and move it to our page and rename it as anything like car.jpg. So I have changed its name. So what I will do, just uh, add the path of here. Since I'm using some good extensions here, it automatically tells me to use car.jpg, but we'll use some good practice here. Like instead of using directly image in here, we'll create a folder named img. So here, if I have created a folder named img, you can see that I guess I need to do this manually. There's some issues with my mouse. Okay, so we have our root folder and then index.html, and then in the image folder, we have car.jpg. So like if I go with this, it will not display anything because car.jpg is not there in the root level. You can see that this is the root level. And if I talk about this, this is the folder is the root level. And if I didn't have any exact path, it directly called the root level first. So we can see anything here. So it will show the alternate text. Yeah, here you can see that it is alter text. And if I do something like use the absolute path img/car.jpg, then you can see that there is the image displayed here. Okay, sure. Next, moving ahead, what we have, like you can see that this is something image we have, and then we have some HTML5 tags. These are the semantic tags of especially included in HTML5, which are header, footer, aside, nav, section, and article. What it does, like we can use actually divs instead of them, but using them is a good practice because our browser get to know what is the header of our text. And you may have seen that various sites having like let me know anything like W3 School. If I just search for W3 School, this is one of the best resource to learn web designing or learn about anything. Okay, so you can see that there is already some things like what are the resources like HTML tutorial. So this is because it has used nav tag to list them out. Like if we can use actually any tag, like we can use a div tag in replacement of all these things, but using these tags will actually tell our browser what is the role of this specific element. Like if we are creating a header of our website, then we will use a header tag instead of a div tag because it will tell our browser. So it will help them in SEO, and as well as like our site will rank good, and the robots.txt, like robots the Google sent to our site, will help them. And same goes for other things like footer tag. If our site is having any footer, then we will use footer instead of a div. And same like a site. A site is actually there's a good example at W3. Like if I open any tutorial, you can see that there is some list in the left side. This is actually a site. If there is some content in some section of your site, then you can use a site tag. And navigation, if I create any navigation on our site, so let's create. So there is some navigation. So if we have some elements here, what is this? This is anchor tag. Anchor tag is used to redirect something it is used to redirect from one page to another page. So if here is the anchor tag, in href we give the path where we have to redirect, and just close this tag, and in between it we write like if I have a home page, we'll use home page, and then same go on. I'm using an extension from GitHub Copilot. That's why it is automatically generating text for me. So instead of copy pasting, we can use it. So most of the sites have these pages like home, about, and contact. So we can use something like home.html. If we have a home.html here, it will redirect us to home.html. So let's create just them for the sake. Create first let's about.html as well, or instead of home.html, we will name it as index.html and then contact.html. Right, so this is our site, and then we will do something here, like what we will do, just tell this that this one is our home page in the h1. This is our index or home. So you can see that this is home, and we will create two more pages, that is about.html and contact.html. So here you can see I will just copy paste this here and change it to about, and same here, change it to contact. Now if I go to our site, this you can see that there is home, and if I do like change it about, you can say it will redirect to about.html, and about is displayed here. That can be anything we want to display in about, but just a sample we are using these things. If I go to contact, it will redirect us to contact.html, and you can see contact here. So same as like on creating sites, we use our actual routing system, so we will neglect this .html and such stuff to make our routes cleaner. So for now we have index.html, about.html and contact.html. And now what we can do is, we were looking for we are like, yeah, I was talking about the semantic element. If I am using this nav element, instead of this, if I go for div tag, you can see there will be no difference. It is still the same. Index.html, yeah. If I go to the index.html, it is still the same. There is no difference. But what will make difference? Because it will tell our browser that it is a nav tag, and it will help them in SEO or ranking on our site, or displaying stuffs from our site. It will not help them in SEO, but it will help them to know more about that what is about to section, and what is like what is the header, what is the main content, what is footer, and what are the navigations on our site. So moving forward, this is just a brief intro about the semantic elements. Now we will talk about the CSS. As we have talked that HTML is nothing but just a structure of any website, like the human skeleton. The CSS is just like our muscles and the clothes. So how our website will look is actually depend on CSS. CSS stands for cascading style sheets. You can see here, and this is just a formula. And if I talk about how to use CSS, there are usually three ways. So let's have a look at them. First one is actually using them in external. Like we embed CSS in three ways. First one is external embedding. Second one is internal embedding, and the third one is inline embedding. So let's have a look at first internal embedding. Sorry, let's have a look at first external embedding. So for this, we will create a folder here. Just remember, the folder making is not necessary, but just to make habitate you of a good practice, we are using these practices here. So few users style folder here, few users directly CSS folder here, few users style sheet folder here, and it's all up to you. You can use anything. So we have CSS here, and you can see that there is CSS. Will you create a CSS file here? This can be anything like style.css, anything what you want to name. We have created a style.css. Just we want to embed it here. So let's have a look how we will embed this. So as early I have mentioned that what we want to embed on our page, we will do it in our head tag. So we'll go here inside head. It totally up to you. Like if you want to do it above the title tag or it's below the title tag, there is no difference. So we will use link tag, and then link will type relative. So this is a style sheet type. So we'll use style sheet, and then href type. We will we will put the path of that specific style sheet. So here we have like CSS. CSS is the name of our directory, and then style.css. So this is how we embed our files using this is external embedding of any CSS file. So if I this is a div. Uh, if I want to see it if it's working or not, I will do something like just body tag. Just forgot what I am doing here. Have a look. Uh, yeah. So I have changed the background color. So if I go to the home, why we can't see any background color here? I think it's changed, but the change is not. Because let's using some random colors. You can see that the background color is changed. So our style sheet is linked perfectly. So this is the first way of embedding any website, any style sheet on our web page. The second thing is using them as an internal file. So we can use a style tag here in our HTML, sorry, head tag, and then we can write our whole CSS here. So as we have used, like I just want to use, remove this line, and then what I will do, first of all, let's close this style tag. So we can write here the CSS. This is just an optional thing. This is not mandatory. So we can remove this. And then same thing we will do, just start body tag. What is this body and what are the rule of this curly braces? We'll just have a look at it in a few seconds. Let's change its color again. Like so you can see that the color is changed again into some different color. Just after reloading, you can see that the color is changed now. And now what's next? This is internal embedding of any style sheet. And instead of this, we can use another way, which is inline styling. So I can use a style attribute here and write our custom CSS here. If I want to do something for this background here, I can actually do this. I forgot that I have to introduce what is hex. We can see that there I have used some the hashtag and then some values. These are nothing but a hex code of any color. So instead of this, we can use like this as well. So you can see that our web page is having a red hex code, like a red color as a background, and red is used as a 0, like a F00 as well. So you will see that there is no difference here, and it is also FF000. It will still be red, so there will be no difference. But if I go to something like or change with these values to anything and just use any values, you can see that the color is changed. So this is because they are having some different hex value for different colors. Hope I am clear till here that how you can embed any CSS into your HTML file. Okay, so let's move forward. So what we have done is just embedding our style sheet, and then let's talk about how to use them. So you can see that we will use this style tag, inline styling in our code. Okay, so we will have a look at CSS through this. So how to use this stuff using CSS? If I want to customize anything related to just forgot and everything. CSS is used to customize the display of anything on our website. So to change properties of anything you want to display, you want to select this. And we did this using some selectors. So basically there are two types of main selector in our class in CSS, or you can say in HTML. These are class and IDs. So if I want to do something with this div tag here, so I can give it a class what or ID. So what is the difference between a class and an ID? Class is actually like you can give a multiple class to anything. Like if there are human, there is some if I want to use any of your names, like if I can guess, there is Abhishek Malviya object there and Aditya Yogendra. So you can see that they both belongs to a boy and a human class. But if I specifically give Abhishek Malviya, then it will be specific to some specific person. Then it will be their ID. So like ID can given be only one thing or two or only one element, but class can refers to multiple elements. Like if I go for a boy class, it can be given to a lot of elements. So I hope I am clear till here. So we'll have a look at here. So how to give class? We have to use just an attribute named class, and we can give it any class. So I can give it any name. So I can giving something like it's a header. So we have given this a class as a header. We are done with the HTML part. Like I have given its header, and it will work fine. Like if I go here in our page, you will see a blank thing. I refresh this page or remove the stuffs here. Right. So we haven't seen any changes here just because we haven't did anything with header. So we want to use we want to do some styling with our header. We want to select this. How we can select? To select classes, we will use something like dot and then class name. So here we are having header as our class. So we'll use dot header and then these curly braces just to define the properties. And then we have a lot of properties and their values defined. Like values are not defined. There is a range of values or multiple sets of values we can use, but the properties properties are well defined and they have some specific values. Like if there is a header, I can give it as a background color something. So if I go and then background, if I want to give it a green background, you can see that the green background is given to it. Okay. And like if I want to give it anything, like if I want to give it a blue, it will be having a blue background. So you can see that there is some a extra white area here. We haven't used anything, but there is a white area. This is because of a box styling. So it is recommended to use this for anything like margin 0, because by default our HTML elements have some margin and padding of different elements. So we use margin padding 0 and box sizing is equals to border box. If I go for box sizing and border box, then you can see that there will be no such things there right now. So if I talk about CSS, there is some selector over there. You can see that here is an example. Like there will be some selector and then declaration tag, and then we will have some property we want to change or we want to apply effect, or like we want to change this in the display of any object or element, and then we will having some values of that property. So you can see here that we are having some p tag, which is like working as a selector. We can directly use, like instead of having dot, we can directly target this h1 as well. So if I go here and directly target this h1, so it will target this h1 and all the h1s on this page. So like if I go here, you can see this is having a blue background right now. And if I go and add any other HTML, h1 as like a home or something, like this is second h1 heading. So you will see that both are in blue background. But if I have given this as a class, like just class as a h1, and then it will, then I will declare this property to specifically class by using that dot. Like if I have used dot, then it is specifically for dot h1 means element which are having class h1. So you can see here, this specific home tag is having blue background because we have used dot h1, which is specifically changing the style of this specific h1. Okay. Is my font visible to you, or shall I zoom into my screen? Okay, let's zoom a little bit. Okay, so what we have done here, this is H1, and we have known to how to use CSS and change a property of any object. And then moving forward, we'll look at the selectors like we have used directly, like element and then class. And if I give any object, any element, like if I want to change something this home only, then I will change something like this, give it a ID, and this is like home. I can give it to it anything, then I will give it a home. And then hash. Hash is used for selecting IDs, as we have seen here that dot is used for selecting classes. Home is used for selecting IDs. So if I have give it like something, we can give it any. If I want to change its font, there is a property named font size. So I have increased this fonts to some pixels, which is 30 pixels. So you can see there, you have seen that font size of this element has increased. And I can change anything, like if I want to change the background of it, I can change it to red as well, or anything I want. Okay, so this is selecting elements. And moving forward, you can see here that this is the same thing we are doing the till here, like selecting elements directly by using their name, or like just by using their element name. And then we have a look at a class selector, where we have looked at what is class selector. We can give class to any element, and then we can use this as like a dot intro. As you can see that there is some class is equals to intro, and we can use it as a dot intro and give some properties to it. Same as we have ID selector, we can give some ID to anything, and then uh, hash intro to display them. Same thing, uh, like we can give same name and same ID to anything. So what's the difference between class and ID? As I have said that same elements can possess same class, and ID can be given to only once to specific elements. There will be no error if you give some ID to anything, but it will work only for the one. So this is the just a basic difference between a class and ID. We uses classes a lot. Like we like if you create anything, there is a very high chance that you are using only classes, and you will not be having use of ID. Okay, and there is some like selection processor. Like there is a decision selector. Let me have a look at it. Like, wait. So here, suppose we are having some anchor tags here. And if I remove this whole CSS here, wait. So there is something like anchor tag here, or like I have used some PDSC UIT RTPV here. Okay, so you can see that there are anchor tag as well, and there is also some anchor tag. Okay, but I just want like I want to display uh, the changes in the only these anchor tags, not in this. So what I will do, the first way I can give them a class like suppose there are n number of class. So since we have three, or suppose there are some like 30, 40, 100 of elements here. So what will be the like if I want to change them, I have to give them class one by one to all. I know there are some shortcuts to do them using code or any text editor, but like manually we have to give them one by one to each and every object element. So if I just want to select these anchor tags and change their properties, so what you can do, let's have a look if I give directly anchor tag some properties. So if I go and give some anchor tags some properties, if I give them color blue, so you can see that there is everything is in blue color. Even this GDSC UIT RGPV is in blue color, and I don't want that my GDSC UIT RGPV will look in blue color. So what will I do? I will use some different sort of selectors. What will this is decision selectors. So I can use this header, and we can define it as like dot header, and then there will be some anchor tag inside. Like the first it will target to the header tag, so it will target it to here, and then look for all the anchor tags inside it. So it will look for all these. So if I go here on our page, let's have a look. The GDSC UIT RGPV is not having blue color now. So this is just a simple step. And if I talk about some other move, like if I have used something like there is another div like, and there is another anchor tag here. So you can see that there is a login named anchor tag here, which is inside a div. But for now, you can see this login is actually having a blue color, and you can see that this login is in different line because this is because we are having this as like div is a block element, so it creates a new line there. So we can change it to span. You can see this is, but I don't want like if I want this login to be red in color, and like just don't want to apply this effect on our login button. What we can do, you can see that there is a dot header, and then we are targeting to our anchor element. What it does, it's like it's just targeting to our header div, like it is looking for all the header tags. Sorry, it is looking for all the classes which are having header as their class, and then it will targeting to the anchor tags in them. These anchor tags can be anywhere, like inside them as their child, or the child to their child as well. Like this, if I talk about this div, then there is span which is a child of this header tag, and then the span tag has a child anchor. So if I want to explicitly use it as a its child, then I can use something like yes. What it will does, it will exclusively use these anchor tags which are its child, not the span anchor tag which is child of anything else. So here you can see if I reload this page, I guess there is some issues with my page. Okay, so if I go something like this, you can see all colors will be changed. And if I want to change the specific color of this, I will use something like header, and then go for span. Like there will be some header inside a span, and then anchor tag. Then you can see that this login is only having color change. Okay, so this is just a different kind of selectors. There are a lot of selecting criteria like parent selector, nth selector, even selector, odd selector, and a lot things there we can do. And after that, there is some just a lot of properties to CSS to discuss about. So you can use, like I personally recommend to just go on these sites like HTML and CSS. I also learn from them, and there is a long description about each and everything. And the best part about this site is there is something like a tool, like a code play here. Like if I go to the CSS, you can see all the properties and their default values and everything listed about them here. I guess there's something wrong with my internet connection. That's why it is taking too much time. Okay, so you can see that these are some things, and you can see there are selectors as well, and there are a lot of selectors you can discuss about, and a lot of properties, like since we are having some different properties like relative position, absolute positions, and a lot things, clothes, and we have thought to just end up this session here, but it will be a lot more in CSS, so you can have a look just by having a look at them. So this is the link to of W3 School. You can just search for W3 School anywhere, just like this, and then you can have a look at all the resources, like oh, this is a complete resource, I can say. Then you will have the look at various properties of CSS and HTML as well, because we haven't covered all the HTML tags and things in our session. So we have just covered the overlay of stuffs of how the things work. So you can have a look at these resources. So you will get an exact idea of what are the number of tags there are in HTML, and what are the properties and their default values and a range of values for CSS. So this is it for today's session, guys. So if you have any doubt or query, then do let me know.
Can you answer my question, Harsh?
Let me just, if you use inline CSS, even if we have applied external CSS, it is not recommended as a good practice. But if you are using like just specifically for a single element or a 2 to 3 element, it is a good to go thing. But if you are using a inline CSS for each and every object, it will be not recommended as a good one.
Okay, okay.
Like
Thank you.
there's a whole web page for which I have written some CSS over there as external CSS. But if I want to change something like just for this anchor tag, and then I am using some inline CSS here, then there is no issues. But if I am using inline CSS for each and every object here, then it will not be considered as a good practice.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Created a session for HTML CSS. Then we thought about to look for a project here. I guess I haven't get a break because I just showed that my internet connection break there. Hope I was clearly audible to you all.
Yes, yes. You are audible.
Okay. Anyone else having any doubt or query?
Can you please explain that certificate criteria again?
Okay, I request if Rishabh sir is here with us. or Ankur Gupta, could you please open your mic? I guess they are a bit busy. So as much as I know, because the basic criteria of certificate is that you must have 4 PR merged into our GDSC URT RGPV to GitHub repositories. Like there are a lot, you can see github.com/GDSC RGPV. So you can see that there are a lot projects listed here. So what you have to do is just you must have 4 PR merged here in any of the repositories. You can merge in only this Meme King repository as well for all of your 4 PRs, or it will be like you can create 1 PR on this, 2 PR on this, and like it can be good anything. But total of 4 PRs should be merged in our GDSC RGPV repository. I hope I am clear. That's the basic criteria.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Anyone having anything or wants to discuss about anything about web development or any tech stack? Or if you are stuck in any project, instead just it, like if it is not in one. Okay, since if anyone is not having any doubt or anything, we can wind up the session now. Feedback form will be shared to you soon. So just fill up your responses, and there will be something like what you want next. So do let us know what you want in the upcoming session.